What is up, everybody? Crazy here, coming at you with a patch notes video today. We're going to go over the 1.6 patch notes as quickly as possible, just to try and get your beaks wet a little bit, going over the new augments and battle pass and the skins and the new game modes. So lots of stuff coming to Pred, and it's going to be an exciting patch on Tuesday, and I cannot wait for everybody to try it. I played it a few times already, and it is absolutely amazing. The new augments add a different level to the game, and it just overall is a lot of fun. So without further ado, jump over to the patch notes. All right, everybody, patch notes are here. So we have the new original hero that's coming out, Yurei. This character, from what I understand, I haven't played it myself, but this character, from what I understand, is disgusting. So it's going to be interesting and fun to see some players play this new assassin character that just dominates team fights. The new battle pass is coming, which is amazing. New rewards, which are awesome. The new experimental game modes that are coming to Predecessor. One is in the next patch, and then the other one is in 1.7. New augment system, which is just adds so much depth to the game and so much fun. And then some map changes, which again, these map changes are just, every time they do map changes, they're pretty good, overall. And these map changes are going to take some getting used to. People are going to be dying from behind their tower, and just a lot of really fun invades. But overall, it just makes the map just better overall and a better flow through the map. So yeah, we'll talk about those when we get down to them. New hero is Yurei. I'm sure you guys have seen this character quite a bit. She's a fun assassin character that has some interesting abilities and interesting characteristics in her kit. Her dash resets, her ranged auto attacks after she uses an ability. Right, this AOE, which applies a soul rip mark on them, that once you dash through them, it gets that demon floating skull above their head. And if you kill the demon floating skull at the same time as you're killing the person, that floating skull is like 10% of their health, and it shares health with the person that it oh my gosh, that it's attached to. So if you kill the skull and the person at the same time, you're just dealing an insane amount of damage. He is freaking just, oh man, she can be a massive damage dealer in team fights. She's got these ranged kunai, and then her ultimate. That ultimate right there is disgusting. And just so you know, that ultimate doesn't really have a vertical height limit to it, so you can dash up into the air because her dash goes in any direction that you are looking, right? So you can dash straight up in the air above a team fight and ult, and it'll hit everybody below you. So it's very impactful and very powerful because it sucks people in at the end of it. So we lower this a little and look at it again. As you can see, Grux gets moved, he gets sucked in. So very, very overpowered ultimate, I'm going to say at the start. So new battle pass, obviously, again, I'm not going to read every single thing, but it has 4 unique skins for 4 different heroes and a new fiery effect for the return to base in style. So this is the Chimera skin, which is, I think, the very last skin that you can get in the game, get from the battle pass. And as you can see, my opinion, that skin is amazing. If you can see here, he has a mutilator that he's holding. It's just, this skin looks absolutely awesome. We have a skin for Yurei, obviously. We have the new Countess skin, another amazing skin. This is another Chimera skin. Broodlord, amazing. The Zarus Ashbound skin, amazing. A zero gravity skin for Shinbi, and another skin for Wukong. So these new skins right here, these Countess Broodlord, Chimera Broodlord, and Zarus Broodlord, these skins are, they look awesome. Finally, Predecessor is stepping up their skin game. Yeah, these are going to be amazing. Here's the bundles, right? You get the bundle for Yurei, you have the bundle for Countess, and then next we're going to be moving into the new labs and Nitro. So these are experimental game modes. Nitro is going to be the first one that comes out in Predecessor. So this will be a game mode that is essentially the same standard game, right? Like you're going to be playing on the same normal map. The only difference is it's a lot faster. So it's like Brawl in that aspect where you get a lot of gold really fast, a lot of XP really fast. And essentially what they're trying to do is give you a normal Predecessor experience, right? Via, ranked standard, they're going to give you that map and that gameplay, but at a much faster pace. That way you can test out builds, learn the map, learn rotations and stuff a lot easier playing this fun game mode than you did in Brawl, right? So Brawl was a totally different game mode than Predecessor's standard and ranked game modes, and people who played it apparently didn't really learn how to play Pred. They kind of just messed around on heroes, and from what I understand, a lot of the people that played Brawl only played Brawl. They didn't really ever go to the standard game mode. And the hope, I believe, of these for fun game modes is to give you an entry into Predecessor, but then have you eventually navigate over to the main game mode and play Predecessor how they want it to be as a MOBA. I don't think Brawl was ever intended to be standalone game mode, and it didn't seem like it was very popular based on what they say in this next part. So Nitro is the standard game of Predecessor, but extremely ramped up and super fast. So it'll be very interesting to see how many people enjoy this game mode and how people utilize this game mode to learn Predecessor or get their fresh start in Predecessor. Or if you're just trying to have a quick game where you want to test out an item build, go into this game mode, get a lot of gold really fast, and really see how it feels on the main map and then team fights. Again, this is Brawl. They're taking Brawl out of the game as they're introducing Nitro. And in here, it states that they might be bringing Brawl back, but there's going to be some changes to it in the future. It's just as of right now, they're going to bench Brawl because it's not very popular, and a lot of people don't really, switch over to normal Pred whenever they do play Brawl. So it's not really helping them learn how to play Pred at a decent level, and that's what the whole intention of the game mode is supposed to be: give you an entry level to Pred, and then eventually have you switch over once you got your feel for it. So it wasn't really doing what it was designed to do, it seems like. So yeah, Brawl is going to be going away, and we're going to be getting Nitro instead. In addition, they do talk about in this link here, they do talk about legacy map. So this is OG Paragon back in 2016, 2017. What Predecessor was built upon. They built upon a game that didn't make it back then, and the OG legacy map will be coming to Pred in 1.7, but it's not coming in 1.6. And again, this is just going to be a game mode. The legacy map isn't going to be anything crazy or wild, like switching the map entirely for the standard game. It's just going to be a game mode that, based on player feedback when they play it, they might make iterations on the main map. So we'll see how that all goes. So here's some map adjustments here. As you can see here, this is behind the tier 1 and mid lane. This wall that you can jump over now, that's about this high, right? You can't jump over it now. It's just difficult for most characters. Is now really easy to jump over. And Galaxy Greaves will go over this wall. For those of you guys who do not know, Galaxy Greaves is the boots in the game that give you that extra height on your vertical jump. Those Galaxy Greaves will give you the ability to go over this wall with ease. So very interesting change here. And we also have a spot into the 4 camp. I don't know if a lot of you guys ever have a team fight in this area where they're invading your blue side and you get stuck in this corridor and you can't ever get out because it's just a narrow hallway. But now they're giving you a path to drop into the 4 camp and come over to the team fight, or potentially jump up into that route and try to flank behind teams that are coming down here. Another juke path, another walking path to the 4 camp, just giving us more access in the game. There's also one of these changes on the 2 camp. There's one of these changes behind the tier 1 tower on both sides of the map, right behind the tier 1 tower on the blue side and on the red side. There's a way for you to jump from the 3 camp into the tower essentially and go behind and gank somebody. So lots of fun changes for characters that have that mobility at the start of the game. Your Rampages, your Kalaris, Auroras, well, she already could do it pretty easily, but a lot of these characters that have a jump, they can go up behind people now and gank a little bit closer to the tower. There's rank party size changes, so we'll be able to queue with 1, 2, 3, or 5. Not 4 stacks, because 4 stacks get a little toxic to the solo person that's in the game, and we don't want that to happen. So you'll be able to stack all the way up to Diamond, which I'm not a big fan of this change. I think this is bad overall. I think in MOBAs, for the most part, you should be queuing as solo duo against other solo duo players. And if they wanted to make a 5-stack ranked queue, they could have done that, where 5 stacks play against 5 stacks. I don't really like the idea of 5 stacks playing against solo and duos. If you are in a 5-stack with friends and Discord, you obviously have a massive advantage to 5 random people that are paired up together. Sure, there's voice comms in game, but you guys have synergy, and you might know how how each other likes to play, and you're going in with the expectation of super try hard, right? So you might be doing, try hard picks everywhere. Or some people on the other team might be doing characters they enjoy, which may not be 100% meta. Like you're going in with a game plan in parties, which give you a massive advantage over people who are solo and duo. So I'm not a huge fan of this change personally. I think it's going to, for those of you guys who think matchmaking is messed up, I think it's going to mess up matchmaking even more. And if, no offense to anybody here, it doesn't matter what rank you are. If you play Predecessor and you can only get to gold, that's totally fine. I mean, that's a starting point for you to be able to work on things that might, if you want to work on things to help improve your gameplay, you can do that, try and rank up. But if you are a gold player and you 5-stack and now you're able to get to diamond, which could be possible, and now you have to solo and duo, it might be out of your limit, unfortunately, when you get to that point, because you'll be playing against Paragon players and diamond players, right? And if you could previously only get to gold, it might skew things a little bit. Not saying that you won't do well every game, or you might do badly every game, but it might skew things, and I'm just not a big fan of this overall. But we'll see. Maybe it doesn't turn out the way I thought it would be, and maybe it's a good change overall, and maybe the data that they were looking at is overall a good thing. But again, I think it would be better if 5-stacks played against 5-stacks and solo duos played against solo duos, but we'll see how it goes. They got to refer a friend thing, so everybody can get, rewards if they refer a friend and that friend keeps playing. We got your controller button icon upgrade here for controller players. And then we have augments. So augments are just exactly what they say. They augment one of your abilities. You get 3 choices at the beginning of a game, and these augments can be super, upfront powerful, like obvious, or they might be something that maybe you don't see as much, but it's still really impactful in the game. So let's go down to types of augments. We have hero augments and minor augments. The first thing we're going to talk about is minor. So the first pool, so you get 2 minor augments and 1 major augment, 1 primary. So the first pool of minor augments, Veracity, 4% of the damage dealt to heroes is what you're going to heal for. Ultimatum, your ult deals 6% more damage. Divination, your heals are 5% stronger. Regenerator, heals and shields. Regenerator, when a damaged hero restores 3 plus 2% of their missing health over 5 seconds. Basic attacks reduce your ability cooldowns by 0.15 seconds on hit. So this is the first set of minor augments you will select from in-game. You get to choose one of these augments, and then you get to choose one of these other augments from pool 2. So Farmer deals 7% more damage to minions and monsters. Alchemist restores mana over 4 seconds. Roamer, you get 5% out of combat move speed. And Steadfast, when immobilized, gain 12% tenacity and 5% damage reduction for 2 seconds. The last one here, Executioner, deals 6% more damage to heroes that are below 40% health. So there's some fun things you can do with these minor augments. I will say that my first one I immediately thought about is Ultimatum, 6% more damage with your ult, and then Executioner for Argus. I think that's going to make his ult just a lot of fun. When they get below 40%, you're going to ult them for 12% more damage, and if you combine Wraith Leggings on top of that, also below 40%, just going to be a lot of fun, I think, combo with Argus. Executing people, making sure that you murder them every time. Next, we have the actual hero augments. So these augments are the heroes that every hero in the game is going to get. They're going to get 3 of them, and each they're unique to the individual hero, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how people utilize this and implement different augments in their gameplay. So we saw Argus in the the teasers that they did about the augments, where he had the Arcane Engine, where he deals ability damage to heroes and grants you 2% move speed for 1.5 seconds, stacks infinitely. And so essentially, he is becoming a race car if he's proccing a lot of his RMBs on you, so you can't really run away from him. So it'll be very interesting to see how this really gets utilized and how fun this is to use in game. Maybe it's not as OP as we think, because you do lose the stacks quickly if you stop dealing damage, so you're not going to be able to run away from people forever unless they're chasing you and you stay perfectly in range and everything. So this one might not be as OP as we think it is, but it's definitely going to be fun. Then we have Mana Catalyst, where he restores 10% of the damage to heroes as mana. And then the last one, which is Synaptic Obliterate, 50% more range and slows for 50% longer. So his ult is already 4,000 units, which means that if he gets 50% more range, it's going to be a 6,000 unit ult. He's going to be shooting people from across the map. It's going to feel like, you know, mid lane to off lane or mid lane to dual lane. It'll be interesting to see how this one gets utilized. Next, we have Aurora. Her first one, her Ice Age goes 25% further. Frozen Fury, she gets attack speed while her passive is active, which could potentially be really strong for those of you who like to build Prophecy. Then it deep freezes. Cryoseism's initial area effect is 20% larger. So her ultimate will get a 20% increased range, and it essentially covers the entire OP pit or Fangtooth pit. This one will make it a lot easier to hit everybody in a team fight with your ultimate. Now we have Boris. While Boris Tesseract core is active, he gains 15% increased armors. So this one could be interesting, makes him a lot tankier when he procs his passive. Detection Protocol Mark shreds 35% of target's physical armor for 4.5 seconds when consumed. This will make him be able to absolutely murder characters a lot faster, especially tanks. And Apex Hunter Chrono Swipe deals 60% more damage to heroes that are below 25% health. So this is basically a finisher. He'll be able to finish people who are low a lot faster. Countess, Shadow Strike, basic attacks against heroes reduce Shadow Slip's cooldown by 8%. So if you hit twice, that's 16%, 3 times, that's 24%, but you have to be autoing in there. So Countess doesn't usually auto attack, so this will be interesting to see if people are able to utilize this effectively. Then we have the Sanguine Slash. Blade Siphon deals 15% more damage to isolated targets. So if you're in a 1v1 and you Blade Siphon, you're going to be dealing a lot more damage with your Blade Siphon, and essentially, you know, just going to be able to burst people a lot harder, right? If you're in that 1v1. So not great for team fights, but great for that pick potential. And for laning phase, if you're offlaner especially. Bloodwell, takedowns summon a pool of blood with 18 charges at enemy's location for 120 seconds. While standing in the pool, Countess consumes a charge to restore 2% of her max health over 2.5% and 2.5% mana every 0.25 seconds. So this one could be interesting. Haven't seen anybody use this. Essentially, she can get like a 30% heal if she stands in the blood pool, but that's a long time to stand in the blood pool. You're gonna be standing in there for, you know, about 5 seconds. So it'll be interesting to see. 4.5 seconds of standing in the same spot as Countess doesn't seem too great unless you solo killed somebody. If you're solo killing somebody, this one seems like it might be better. So I'm not sure. We'll see if Bloodwell gets utilized. Like I said, I haven't seen it happen yet. Anybody use this? Most people use the Sanguine Slash, but this one could be interesting. Crunch. Dealing damage with Cross Crunch grants 5% attack speed for 3 seconds, stacking up to 16 times. Large Crunch. Forward Crunch travels 20% further, which will be wild for escapes and for engages and catching people. Falcon Crunch. Empowered right click launches Crunch 4 times higher when used mid-air. However, its cooldown is 50% longer when used this way. So this essentially, this again is one of those really fun augments with Crunch. If you jump and use your Empowered Uppercut, which knocks people up into the air, if you do that, when you do that Empowered Uppercut, it's going to bring people essentially as high as Galaxy Greaves. So you're going to take them super high up into the air. Not sure if this is good, more as memey, but it'll be interesting if people can utilize this in really cool ways. The reason why I don't think it's super impactful is because if you launch people that high, any ground target abilities you throw probably won't hit them. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but they are going to be stunned longer, right? Because they're going to be flying they're going to be knocked up for a longer period of time. So it'll be fun to see this one used in game. Decker, I think she has a couple of good ones here. Rocket Boot grants yourself and nearby allies 30% decaying movement speed over 3 seconds. This one seems really impactful. Being able to move your allies just because you jump in the air, and your jumps are pretty low cooldown later stages of the game. So this one could be used, you know, to engage or disengage with. It could be very impactful. Photon Efficiency. Photon Disruptor's cooldown is decreased by 15% when it damages a hero. This one's kind of shit. I'm going to be honest. I don't think anyone should ever use this. Sure, it makes your Proton Disruptor a little bit better, but not really that great. Ionic Surge, this is probably her best augment. Ion Strike stuns radius is increased by 30% upon stunning an enemy unit. It shreds their armor by 20% for 3 seconds. That one is extremely impactful. If you land a stun and then you ult on somebody, shredding their armor is insane, and the ult radius being increased is super, super amazing. Being able to stun people almost every single time, even if you're free casting that ultimate. So very good augment. Next, we have Drongo. While standing in Gag Grenade, Drongo's allies restore 440 to 590 health. This one we've used before in some matches. I've seen people use it. It doesn't really feel like it's healing you that much. And if you're throwing it on yourself, it means you're not throwing it on the enemy, which means you don't get the silence. So then again, if you throw it on the enemy and then you walk into it, you're getting the heal. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody utilize this one to where it's felt super impactful yet. Then we have Bring the Boom. Rad Round deals 30% of the damage to nearby enemies upon exploding. I haven't seen anyone use this yet, but I think this one could be interesting depending on the AoE of that explosion. Fangtooth fights, hit fights in general, you might just be destroying everybody if you have this augment. And then the last one, Shred Spree. Shrapnel Cannon's cooldown is reduced by 85%, but deals 60% less damage. This one is the most common one I've seen used, and I haven't seen a single person that thought this was super awesome yet. It sounds amazing. You can get 2 ultimates off in a team fight, but this 60% less damage is a lot. And if you know a lot of Drongo players, they use their ultimate to finish people off. Obviously, this isn't what this ultimate is used for. This ultimate is mainly, I believe, used for, utility, right? So if you get engaged on, you have your ult, 15, 20 seconds later, you're going to have your ult again, ult away. That's going to be really awesome for staying alive in team fights. Or if you're chasing down a tank, you might ult early, right? So you can get that armor shred on them to do more damage and for your rad rounds to explode. And then it's not going to do a lot of damage itself, but you're going to ult early. And then if the team fight keeps playing out, you're going to be able to ult away if somebody dives on you. So it has a lot of utility potentially, but it does make you as an ADC not be able to finish people as easily. Because Drongo wants to apply rad rounds and do a whole bunch of burst damage, and he loses a lot of that with this. So next, we have Feng Mao. Icarus Glaive restores 2% of missing health. Restores 2% of missing healing, increased to 35% for Earth Shadow executions. So I believe it's supposed to be health, not healing. But essentially, while you're in lane, if you kill any minions, you get this 2%. And then you get 35% for whenever you're executing a person. So this could help with laning phase, and it's definitely going to help you in team fights whenever you execute people to regen a ton of HP. Imperial Duelist, Feng Mao's basic attacks debuff the target for 3 seconds. Against debuff targets, Feng Mao deals 5% more damage and takes 5% less damage. This will be really good for trading. You auto somebody, and then now there's a 10% gap, right? You're doing 5% more, they're doing 5% less, and overall it'll allow you to take those duels a little bit easier. Seismic Smash, which from what I understand is his best ultimate, or his best augment. Earth Shatter also knocks up enemies and stuns them for a short duration. This one is apparently very frustrating to deal with when you're in a game. If a Feng Mao executes somebody and knocks somebody else up, it's super annoying. Or if Feng Mao is about to lose his ult, right? He already got a reset on it, and he's about to lose it, and he ults, knocking them up into the air is annoying, because then he can try to finish you off. Or for those Feng Mao players who ult just a smidge early, and they think they're going to get the guy in execute range, or maybe the guy heals up after, after you cast your ult, he hits that, HP potion proc, and he gets right above that execute threshold. Instead of your ult basically doing nothing, it's going to do a little bit of damage and knock them up into the air for you to be able to finish them off. So from what I understand, this one is definitely the best one to use. Gadget Sticky Mine Radius Explosion is increased by 25%. This one allows you to land those sticky mines a little bit easier. Seek and Destroy's homing speed is increased by 25%. This one is annoying because you can't get away from Seek and Destroy anymore. You throw that Seek and Destroy out there, and it's going to almost guarantee jump on you. If it targets you at all, it moves like insanely fast. You can't run away from it. Ion Barrier Security Gate grants yourself 50 plus 35% magical power shield for 3 seconds when they pass through it. This one seems like it's super amazing. From the gadgets that I've talked to that have used this, who thought it was going to be top tier, it's really not that good. 35% magical, that's it. Late game, you're not getting a whole bunch of effectiveness from this security gate. The 35% magical power just doesn't feel super impactful. So From what I understand, this one doesn't feel super great, but who knows? It might be her best augment once people start playing her a lot. Gideon, Cosmic Grip deals 5% targets max health damage to enemies in the center. And when they say in the center, I mean in the center. It is... It is such a small AoE. I'm not a big fan of this one. I think it's pretty shit. Abyssal Mantle, upon activating Black Hole, gain 50 plus 100% magical power shield for 4 seconds. This one seems super impactful, especially for those True Silver builders. They will get a huge shield between True Silver, this Abyssal Mantle, and Soul Bearer. You're not going to be able to cancel this guy's ultimate. It's disgustingly strong, and yeah, Gideons will be casting their full ultimate every time with this thing in True Silver. Infinite Impact. Void Breach now has an infinite range. This one, kind of whatever. I mean, it's cool and all. You know, you can throw it a million miles. I don't know. It seems more memey than anything, but maybe it's useful for poking and stuff. Greystone, Make Way deals 15% increased damage to the nearest enemy unit. This just makes that AoE he throws out a lot stronger and does a lot more damage. Thornforge deals 12% more damage, and its radius is 20% larger. For Imperial Soul, that one is actually very annoying. That AoE of this ultimate, it's like impossible to get out of. So this one is super, super annoying to deal with, especially if you're playing a game where you just want to spread out the team fight and be as obnoxious as possible with your ult. And then this last one here, Sacred Oath, applies 50% blight to enemies for 4.5 seconds. This one I think is actually super impactful because for all you Grux players and Sevarog players, Greystone's going to kind of be running you down and you're not going to heal for very much. Remember, blight on items is only 45%, but this blight is 50%. So it's a little bit stronger of a blight. It lasts for 4.5 seconds, and overall, Greystone's just going to be super obnoxious to deal with. He gets movement speed now. He gets armor shred now. He's going to have blighted now. The character's kit is starting to become extremely overtuned, and they're doing that because he doesn't have any CC and people think he's useless, I would imagine. But he's basically going to have all these items in his, like all these item passives in his kit. It's going to be super annoying. Grim, blocking an ability with energy shield restores 30 plus 18% missing health and grants 25% movement speed. Apparently this is his best one. It feels the best, but seems a little bit meh to me. Triggering Pulse Fire reduces your current basic ability cooldowns by 15%. Again, another kind of whatever. That 15% apparently doesn't feel like a lot. Then we have Instant Reload. Killing an enemy hero with GTFO allows it to be recast at no cost for 8 seconds. If you kill somebody with the GTFO, this is cool. There's been some clips that I've seen where people are fighting in the duel lane and he ults and kills one and ults and kills the other one, but it's also just like, I don't know. In team fights, it doesn't seem super useful. Maybe. I mean, it could be super annoying to deal with if he's ulting and killing a whole bunch of people in the early game and then gets super fed from it. So, Grux. Warlord's challenge duration is increased by 0.3 seconds on hit, reduced to 0.15 seconds for non-heroes. So this just makes your ultimate just last forever. If you have a lot of attack speed and you are hitting somebody in your ultimate, it's going to go forever and it's not going to end. So people are going to have to keep an eye out for Gruxes whenever they go on him. It's going to be even harder once he hits level 6 to deal with him. Lust for Blood, heal 4% plus 0.5% per level of damage dealt to enemies affected by maximum bloodlust stacks. So this one is getting his basically Omnivamp that he used to have on his passive back. So you're going to be able to heal for a lot. When you're level 18, this is 13% healing. So could be pretty useful. And then this last one here, Grux's blink cooldown is 30% shorter. It seems nice if you're playing an engage Grux style, but I think this one might be super impactful. Maybe the most impactful augment that he has. Howitzer, Blast Off. Landmine blast targets 30% further. This just makes people fly a lot further, including yourself when you're trying to escape things. So this one seems really strong. Combat Thrusters gain 40 to 200% movement speed during Make It Rain. So while you're ulting, you're going to be running people down a lot easier. And Howitzer's basic attacks grant himself 3.5% total attack speed for 4.5 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. So essentially, he's going to be able to get like 20% attack speed by auto-attacking. For you Prophecy builders, once again, here you go. Iggy and Scorch. Probably my least favorite hero in the next patch. This character is wildly OP, and that's because of the turret maniac. Increases your maximum number of flame turrets from 3 to 4. He's going to shred objectives faster. He's going to be even more obnoxious to deal with when you're trying to dive him or play in the pits. 3 turrets already does a lot of damage, and now you're getting a 4th one in there. And oh my god, does it just increases your damage by so much. It is so annoying. Aegean Scorch is super obnoxious next patch. Badlands Belch. Belch deals additional 8% of the target's missing health as damage and knocks back 30% further. So people are going to be flying a lot this patch. Molotov permanently gains 3% explosion damage against heroes each time its explosion hits one. So a lot of people thought this was going to be super OP, but you think about this, it increases by 3 damage against heroes each time an explosion hits one. You have to land 100 Molotovs for this to do 300 extra damage. That's like 1 or 2 Iggy turret hits, right? So you can go this and have to land 100 mollies, or you can go turret maniac and at level 2, when you get your turrets, or level 1 or level 3, whichever level you get them, you're instantly doing that. So not a fan. I think this is wildly overhyped. Laurie, takedowns reduce basic ability cooldowns by 50%. So if she executes somebody, she's going to be flying around like crazy and have 0 cooldowns. The finesse, damaging heroes with crippling dagger, reduces its cooldown by 1.5 seconds and refunds 20 mana. And then the critical override, Laurie's abilities can critically strike, but her crit damage is decreased by 35%. So she does 35% less damage with critting, but she can crit on all of her abilities. So you crit Laurie's, you got Vanquisher, and you're going to have, who knows, Terminus, and you're going to have Imperator to increase your crit damage, and you're going to jump into team fights. And when you have a lot of crit, if you ult somebody, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Next, you have Chimera. Ambush range is increased by 15%. That'll be interesting. Jungle Invasion. Chimera gains 5+1 per level bonus physical power while in his own jungle, and increases that to 10+2 per level while in the enemy team's jungle. So level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, all the way up to level 18. Invade, 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 invade. You're going to be extremely strong. Minion regeneration. Spirit regeneration also grants health regen against minions. So this is for you people who want to lane as a Chimera and you don't want to jungle. You can go minion regeneration and heal on the minions that you're auto-attacking in lane. You can run up to the minion wave, start auto-attacking, get a lot of mana or HP regen built up, and start jumping on the enemy offline opponent and trying to fight them with 30 plus HP regen early on in the game. Again, though, you do Chimera, Chimera, in lane, you're going to have a hard time with getting ganked. You have no escapes. So yeah, this will be interesting. See how many people feed with Chimera offlane. Here at Bringer of Mercy. Mercy costs 10% less mana and reduces Kira's current ability cooldowns by 1 second upon dealing damage. Dusk deals an additional 8% of the target's missing health damage to enemies affected by with maximum stacks of vengeance. This or Dusk's Embrace. This one I think seems super annoying. It's super strong. Dealing 8% of the target's missing health, basically an execute, especially if you have Vanquisher, right? You Dusk Embrace somebody, they're going to just pop. Which means you get more dash resets. So, really annoying. Siphoning Purge. Purge deals 15% of its damage dealt. Purge heals from 15% of its damage dealt to heroes. So this makes your ultimate a little bit stronger, giving a heal to it, but heroes have a hard enough time getting their ultimate to cast for a while. So I'm not sure if Siphoning Purge will be super useful, but if you do get a big AoE ult, you're going to heal for a lot. I think the Dusk's Embrace will be the strongest one there. Slayer of the Heavens. Strike of the Heavens deals 20% more damage to and reduces heroes. So this is Kwang. And reduces cooldowns by 30% more. Sorry. So 20% more damage, reduces cooldowns by 30% more. This is your passive. Doing a full combo on somebody. He's not going to have cooldowns, and he's going to be doing more damage with that passive. So trading in lane against the Kwang got even harder. The next one, Kwang Emits an aura, granting himself 3% Omnivamp, and nearby allied heroes get 5% Omnivamp. So really low amount of Omnivamp. I don't know why you would go this when you can just go Slayer of the Heavens and have Magnify and heal for more health through Magnify. Seems kind of weak. This Slayer this Aura of the Heavens one. Slayer of the Heavens seems way better. I'm sure you can give your team 5% Omnivamp, but what's 5% Omnivamp? Not really a big deal. Less than most items in the game. Heavenly Tactician. Fury of the Heavens cooldown is reduced by 20 seconds. Additionally, Kwong no longer retrieves his Heavenly Blade upon recalling. So you can throw your sword in lane, back to base, ult back, and still be back in 0 seconds flat, right? So this just allows a little bit of utility for his ultimate. Lieutenant Bellica. Void Bomb deals 15% more damage to isolated targets. Combat Veteran. Passively gain 0.1 to 2 XP based on hero level experience each second. So you're going to be getting a lot of XP. I've seen this has been nerfed twice. It used to be 4 seconds or 4 XP, I believe. And like I said, each second you're getting experience. And I've seen a lot of people get 2 to 3 levels above their mid lane opponent. And both people have been in lane the whole time. Both people have been farming the whole time. And Bellica just gets a massive XP lead. So Bellicas love this because they get ability haste based on how many abilities they max. And Combat Veteran allows you to get max level extremely fast. Pulse fire rounds. Lieutenant Bellica's attacks also deal 10% magical power on hit. You prophecy builders, man. You prophecy builders. Again, they're buffing prophecy based on the augment you go. So you prophecy builders are going to have a lot of heroes to play prophecy with. And here's another one. Morgus, Spirit Shred. Morgash's basic attack shred 4% magical armor for 4 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Prophecy builders, here you go. Gonna be able to build prophecy and keep going ham. Shredding a lot of their magical armor, so 20% just for existing. Ritual of Death, takedowns decrease curses cooldown by 20 seconds. So seems pretty strong. Or pretty annoying, I should say. Not necessarily strong, but pretty annoying, getting that ultimate back up over and over. Not a full reset, but will make your ultimate pretty short. Cursed Infestation. Hive deals 10% more damage and has 10% increased range. That's pretty good for you mage builders on Morgash, being able to throw this further and do more damage with Hive. Mourn. Nightmare Extractor. He actually has 3 really good augments, but Nightmare Extractor. Casting an ability reduces the cooldown of Extract by 20 seconds. So this, again, is your passive. This is that big, strong hand that you hit people with that heals you for a lot of health. Once you hit level 3 in lane, dealing with a Mourn that hits you with a strong hand, hits you with a Mesmer, hits you with a pull, hits you with another Contagion Q. Well, I did that in the wrong order. You should use Contagion first and then use all your abilities. And then hits you with his strong hand again, because that's a 60% cooldown reduction. He's going to be smacking you with his big hand, which heals him and does a lot of damage to you a lot. Also helps with wave clear. So this character is going to be super annoying. This plus Fist of Azul as your first item. As an offlane Mourn, you are so hard to kill. Contagion to Eclipse, probably his best augment overall. Eclipse applies Contagion to all heroes on activation. So this is all your allied heroes and all the enemy heroes you're going to apply Contagion to, which is that vomit that you throw, which gives your allies armor, gives your allies a heal, does damage to the enemy team, and shreds enemy team armor. If your team is fighting across the map, you ult, giving your team a healing and armor increase while also reducing the enemy team's armor and doing a little bit of damage to them. You think about this towards the late game. If you have Primal in a team fight and you pop Contagion, instantly applying Primal to every single person on the enemy team, they are taking a ton of damage from you as the support, or you as the offliner, you as the jungler. They're going to take a ton of damage from you if you have this augment. Dreadful Roots, his funnest augment by far. If Abduct hits terrain, Morn pulls himself towards it. So that's his Abduct is his hook. If you throw that on the ground, he flies towards it. If you throw it on a wall, he flies towards it. And one thing to note, if you are flying in the air, right? So let's say you throw it on like a little bit higher up on a pillar. As you're flying through the air, you can charge your Mesmer while you're flying. And as soon as you land, if you land on somebody, instantly Mesmer them. So it does have some, impact, some utility that you can use with it. But Agent Eclipse is his best augment, in my opinion. And if you're offlaning, Nightmare Extractor is disgusting. Or jungling, right? This helps with jungle clear as well. Murdoch. Murdoch gains 2 additional static trap charges. I mean, imagine trying to run into a team fight and there's 4 static traps on the ground. Like, he's just going to be super obnoxious to deal with if he has this one. Justice Reach, shots fired, now pierces through enemy units and has 300 range. This is an insanely strong augment. Every 6th auto attack he fires a charged up basic, and it's now going to pierce and has 300 range. It already has an increase of 300 range, so he's going to be able to shoot people, or I think it's 400 range. He's going to be able to shoot people from 2100 or 2200 units, something like that, every 6 seconds, or every 6 auto attacks. And again, in a team fight, he hits that 6 auto, it's going to pierce through everyone. Going to do a lot of damage. Martial Law, Long Arm of the Law deals 12% more damage and grants 50 gold on hero kill. So more damage on your ult. If you have Vanquisher, even better, giving you more gold whenever you kill somebody. Kind of okay, but I think these 2 are way better. Muriel, Alacrity reduces current ability cooldowns of the target it shields by 1.5 seconds. A lot of people think this is her best augment because she gets to reduce the cooldowns of anybody she shields, like allies, enemies, just not enemies, allies, herself. Yeah, she just consistently reduces cooldowns of her allies or herself by a lot. I actually don't know if this is her best. I think this is her weakest augment personally. I don't care about reducing their cooldowns. Build ability haste. Aerial Assistant. This one I think is her best. Reversal of Fortune cleanses an ally it is used on and grants them 1.75 seconds of CC immunity. I think if you're ulting a frontliner who's diving into a team fight, they would love to have 1.75 seconds of CC immunity. Imagine you're ulting onto a Grux who's fighting in a team fight. Let's say he got Richter ulted, right? You're ulting onto him, cleanses the Richter ult. He now can't be hooked. He now can't be silenced. And he can't be stunned by a Decker support coming at him. He can't be, he's going to run you down. I think this one's way better than Circuit Reset. But everybody seems to think that this one that I played against on the 1.6 packs thinks this one's her best because it reduces cooldowns by 1.5 seconds. I don't think it's that big of a deal personally, but we'll see. Essence Nullifier. Serenity's damage also drains 10 plus 2 plus 4, 6, 8, 10% of the target's current mana, dealing it as true damage. I think this one's secretly OP as hell. 10% of the target's max mana. So if you're a support Muriel and you max your Serenity, making them take 8% more damage because that's one of Serenity's current passives. You're also draining them of 10% of their max mana and dealing it as true damage. So you're going to be hitting people for a lot, and you're also going to be super obnoxious. Imagine pairing this with a Bellica, right? Bellica's draining their mana, you're draining their mana. No one's going to have any mana in the team fight. Super obnoxious to deal with, especially against this next character. If you're playing Muriel against Narbash, I think this one might be really strong. This one, of course, I think is their best, but I think this one can definitely be utilized. I think both of these are better than Circuit Reset. Narbash, Berserker Beat. March also grants Narbash and his allies 12, 15, 18, 21, 24% attack speed. So this is a lot. This is a lot of attack speed for whenever you're using March. Help out your entire team, including your ADC. Narbash restores mana when taking damage equal to 10% of the damage received. I've tried this one. It's nice. It's like a free Hexbound bracer, but okay. I think this one's still better. Progressive Tear. Each hit of Crash Bang Boom shreds 2.5% of the target's armor for 3 seconds for a maximum of 25%. So I mean, it seems like this could be a lot of shred because your Crash Bang Boom hits a lot in that time frame. So you could shred potentially a ton of their armors. This one might be super impactful, especially against tanky team comp. Phase. Essence Catalyst restores your linked allies' mana by 10%. of the target's missing mana over the duration. Okay. Energy Lance deals 30% is 30% shorter, but deals 15, 25, 35, 45, 65% more damage. I think this one could be fun for you aggressive phase players. Sure, it's going to be a lot shorter range, but you're trying to be in there and be aggressive with phase anyway. So this one could be super impactful if you max Energy Lance first and then you max your Blink, and you're going to max your pool last, but you're going to be doing a lot of damage as a support. Kindred Surge. Hyperflex grants 10% more movement speed and 1.5% max health regen for its duration. I've seen people use this one. Cool, more move speed, cool, a little bit of max health. I mean, I think this is better if you're ulting frontliners. Seems okay. I mean, making your already strong ultimate a little bit stronger. Sure. Rampage. One of the characters everyone's excited for. Rumble no longer has a cooldown, but costs 10% more mana, slows Rampage by 60% while active, and deals a damage of 30, 50, 70, 90, 110 plus % of the physical power instead. So it's a little bit weaker, but it has 0 cooldown. So stomp, stomp, stomp while you're in lane. Going to use up a lot of mana, but you might be able to finish people pretty quick with this one. Rock and Awe. Boulder Throw can be ripped out while in midair and deals 0 to 80% more damage based on the distance 0 to 6,000 units. So this one seems like people have been enjoying this one. Being able to jump, pull out your rock, and throw it seems to be impactful. Plus, it doing more damage seems to be useful. People don't like this one because of the mana it takes and the reduction in damage, but I think these two are probably the best. And then again, we have good augments, and then we have the fun augment. Behemoth now shrinks Rampage with it now. We're also removing his combat penalty when using an auto attack, granting him 70% total attack power for the duration. However, he receives 35% increased damage while Behemoth is active. So size enhancement effects such as Giant's Ring also make Rampage even smaller. So you can go Sapphire Mantle and Giant's Ring and be a super, super small Rampage. But again, taking 35% more damage, if people are casting AoEs on you, you're just going to die. Which is why I think it's more of a meme fun augment. Although you can snowball games with this. If people have a hard time hitting you, you will do a lot of damage in snowball. Revenant. Revenant reloads 30% faster. For its quick draw for one of them, it's okay. Spectral Bounty. Revenant temporarily steals 6% of the target's physical and magical power while in the Netherrealm. If the Revenant kills the target while they're in the Netherrealm, he gets 50% of the stolen stacks permanently. I think this one is for people who want to snowball really hard. You hit level 6, you ult somebody, guarantee the kill, and you keep going with it, getting permanent scaling on Revenant. There's going to be games where Revenant's going to have, 6, 7 kills in his ultimate, and late game he's going to just tap you for a 4-shot. He's just going to instantly kill you. Going this plus Ortis, if you have a game where you can go Ortis, that scales so hard on Revenant. Hellfire Blast. Hellfire rounds 4-shot deals 8% more damage and ignores 40% of the target's physical bonus armor. This is the one I see the most on Revenant players because it absolutely chunks people. You get hit for a billion damage with this 4th shot. He snowballs really hard with it because he guarantees a lot of kills, especially on tanks, 40% of their physical armor. Brutal Change for Richter. Whiplash has 10% increased range. Successful hits also reduce its cooldown by 30%. This one's really fun to use as a support. And I think offlane, this one will be really fun to use as well, just because if you hit that hook, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. It's further range, so it catches people off guard on how far you can throw it. And reducing it by 30% means you get to use it again really quick, which again, in order to get as passive, you have to hit a hook or land your ultimate. So this will also give you more chance or more shields because you're throwing hook more and hopefully landing them, and then also doing extra damage. So makes you tankier and does more damage at the same time if you land all your hooks. Electrocute grants 8% more move speed and deals 30% more damage to monsters. This is a great one if you're going to be jungling. You're going extremely fast. You're about 40% increased move speed when it's maxed out, and dealing 30% more damage to monsters. You're insta-clearing your jungle camps. Richter regenerates health equal to 5, 6, 7, 8% of the damage received over 5 seconds, increases with hero level. Oh, this right here makes Richter, a lot tankier. The Warden one here, you're healing for a lot of the damage that gets dealt to you. There's also that other augments. If you forgot the minor augment that makes you heal 2% more of your missing health. So at level 10, you're going to be healing for, 2% of the damage done to you. At level 10, you're going to be healing for a lot of the damage that you get hit for if you have both those minor augments and this augment here. Sereth, Vital Resonance. Sorry, goodness. Upon picking up a Fallen Grace Visage, Sereth restores 150% of the total physical power as health. This one is for those Sereth players who likes to live life on the edge. You get a lot of resets. You're going to be full health like the entire time you're fighting. You go back in at 200 HP to finish off the second target. You got the reset. You're going to be healing for 300, 400 health and be able to go back in with a lot more health to snowball kills. Wrath Unleashed. Sereth gains 20% critical strike while Hearsay's active. Who cares? Just build crit if you want to have crits. This is kind of whatever. And then we have, this is not the actual name of this one. That's the name of Richter's. Fun typo there. Can't remember what the name of this one is actually called, but Ascend now stuns enemies for 0.4 seconds when it deals damage. This is actually the most annoying. This is the second most annoying, besides Iggy's turrets. This is the second most annoying augment in the game. I didn't think this one would be as OP as it is, but Sereth jumping into a team fight and stunning somebody for 0.4 seconds. Oh my god. It is so obnoxious dealing with Sereths who go this augment. So obnoxious. Severog. Unholy Pursuit. Phantom Rush grants 2 souls when it damages an enemy hero. Cooldown is also reset when Colossal Blow damages an enemy hero. So, as a Severog player, you'll be able to dash through somebody, get 2 stacks, ult them backwards, dash towards them or run towards them and dash through them again, get 2 more stacks. Resetting your dash is quite insane. Also, if you get jumped on as a Severog, you dash away, they jump on you, you knock somebody away, you dash away again, you're going to be hard to catch. Kind of like a little bit of a crunch player whenever you ult, right? Reset your dash. What happens with crunch? He dashes away, he ults, and dashes away again. Yeah, super annoying. Grim Harvest. Siphon now executes enemies that fall below 5% max health. I think this is also going to be a fun one, being able to guarantee those Siphon stacks and killing people. You have a Vanquisher on your queue. And Gravebreaker, this is again the fun one, and also probably the strongest one. This is actually stronger than what I originally thought it would be. Either Unholy Pursuit or Gravebreaker will probably be the strongest ones, but all 3 of them seem like fun to use. Colossal Blow knocks back people 25% stronger. So this is even without stacks. This is as soon as you hit level 6, even if you're below 40 stacks, you knock people 25% further away. Each time Severog reaches a new soul tier, the knockback strength increases by another 25%. So as soon as you hit level 6, you're below 40 stacks, that's 25%. You get above 40 stacks, that is now 50%. You get above 40 stacks again. It's actually a little bit more than 50% because it's 25% every tier. So yeah, I think the way that it stacks up is if it knocks somebody back 1,000 units, right? And now you get this augment when you're below 40 stacks. Let's say it knocks them back, 25% is 250. So now it knocks them back 250 extra, and then 25% on top of 1250, and then 25% on top of whatever that's going to be, like 15 something. 25% of that, 25%. So you're knocking people back over 100% further, quite a bit. This used to be 35%, and you would knock people from the inhib over the blue wall past the 4 camp, right? I've seen people. I personally have played a game where I got knocked from trying to siege an enemy base. I got knocked from the inhib all the way into the enemy team's base and got killed at full health. Severog just dashed on me, ulted me, and I flew into their base. So from like the back of the inhib. So they did nerf it, so I don't know if you'll be able to apply that far anymore, but it is definitely a fun ultimate to have. Very interesting. The utility purposes of this, let's say you're trying to take an objective. You just run at the jungler and ult him, and he's going to fly 1,000,000 units away, and he's never going to be able to contest that objective, right? Or if a team fight breaks out and there's a big fat tank, ult him out of the team fight, make him fly 1,000,000 units away, go dive the backline. Shimmy, Rushing Beat now applies 2 stacks of tracks upon damaging them. It's the dash. I haven't seen a lot of Shimby people. I guess our augments aren't as fun. This one's probably okay. Bites per minute. Ability hits reduce biting melodies cooldown by 1 second. That's her passive. So if you hit your Q and you hit your E, you're going to be reducing your passive hit by a lot. Her passive does do a lot of damage, so this one might be the best. Bites per minute, especially if you're staying on top of people and autoing them. Natural talent. Shimmy permanently gains 0.5 ability haste upon killing a camp leader. So if she's jungling, kills a camp leader, gains 0.5 ability haste for every camp leader she kills. So on your first clear alone, there's the red buff, your 5 camp, 2 camp, 4 camp, your blue buff, and your 3 camp. So that's 3 ability haste you'll get on your first clear alone. I have had people go this augment, and they say it's very underwhelming. So maybe bites per minute is going to be the best. Skylar, Plasma Grenade reduces its cooldown by 3.5 seconds when attaches to enemy heroes. This one seems like it could be super impactful if you max your Plasma Barrage in mid lane. Suppressive Fire, while Air Assault is active, Skylar's basic attack range is increased by 12%. So as she's flying through the air, super obnoxious. Yeah, super annoying. She's going to be hitting you from outside of the auto attack range. Atomized Artillery. Atomizer now fires 3 blasts in succession, dealing 42% of the original damage. So that seems fun as an ultimate. Very interesting. Pow, pow, pow. Yeah, so it also does more than 100%, right? It does 126%. Sparrow. Takedowns reset Sparrow's basic ability cooldowns. This one seems pretty good. If you get a lot of kills on Sparrow, being able to launch multiple volleys in the air, being able to right-click somebody for a lot of health, being able to get that attack speed seems pretty good. Veiled Stalker. Upon activating heightened senses, Sparrow enters stealth, becoming invisible to enemies and gains 35% move speed for 1.5 seconds. So this is true invis, by the way. This means you can't even put a ward down to see her. You can't stand next to her to try and see her like you can with Kalari and Wraith. Right? This is true invis. You cannot see her when she is invis. This is okay. I think it's not as good as people think it is. Sure, she can go invis, but and get a little bit of move speed. It will help with her ability to escape, right? Like she does struggle with the ability to escape, but I don't think it's as impactful as you think it might be. If she auto attacks, it instantly comes out of invis, and if you have your heightened senses activated, you do want to auto attack. Although your attack speed does not start until after you come out of invis. So if you go invis and you stay invis for the full 1.5 seconds, it's not reducing the time you have attack speed. Your attack speed starts as soon as you auto attack or as soon as you come out of the invis. So it can be useful, being able to reposition really quick and auto attack and get that full, I think it's 6 seconds of attack speed. Inner Fury. Inner Fury now releases 5 arrows instead of 3. Additionally, it has 8% increased range and it fires 2 additional volleys. You have to remember, Sparrow's auto attack, Sparrow's ultimate right now, I mean, each of those arrows that come out, all 3 of them, counted as a separate auto attack. So right now, our ult deals, I think it's like 70% with the middle and 30% with the sides. So those are separate auto attacks. Now she has 5 separate auto attacks, right? She goes this crest, which means that if she gets dove on by a rampage or dove on by somebody and you're not at threat of getting stunned and you ult, you are going to hit 5 separate auto attacks at the same time on this ulted rampage, as long as he's not Tiny Behemoth, running at you and instantly kill him. I have seen Sparrows just annihilate characters that try to dive her because she ults and either they don't have CC or they've already used it and she's backpedaling and she ults and 2 or 3 volleys hit that person at the same time. Boom, 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 murdering you. So super, super annoying to deal with whenever you have a Sparrow that goes this and you try to dive her. Better CC her the whole time or cancel her ultimate or you will get destroyed. Steel. While using Bull Rush, become unstoppable and gain 50% damage reduction. This Steel actually is a fun support for me, and I normally don't like Steel supports, but this augment here, being able to dash through Aurora or Frost, or be able to dash out of Richter and not be able to get hooked or silenced, or let's say a Richter's hooking you and you start your dash, right? You can see the animation for Richter for you really fast reflex players, and I've done this. I've done this in scrims on 1.6 patch. So Steel or Richter throws the hook and you click the button for dash. If you have it on instant, it's easier to do this. You click the button for your bull rush, and you start dashing at the Richter. The hook hits you, does almost no damage, and you continue to dash at him, and you knock him backwards, and you right-click him. Super, super strong. Or if you're getting ganked by somebody, right, you dash. They can't cancel you with CC. They can't stop you with gag grenade. They can't get against Strongo. Sorry, mentioning that. Can't stop you with gag grenade. They can't stop you with anything. Allows you to escape a lot easier, engage a lot easier, and get that extra knockback off. I know I get stopped a lot whenever I try to dash in my MMR, so this makes him a lot better, especially against Aurora. I can't tell you how good it feels to dash through Horror Frost. You're going to have to experience it yourself. Also, Crash Slam now has 30% longer, 35% longer range, and 10% larger radius, and now knocks back enemies away from steel on impact. This is fun. It's interesting if you ult and knock people towards your team or spread out the team fight and cause chaos. A lot of people are going to hate you for this, though, because if you go this and you ult thinking you're going to hit them on the front side, knocking them towards your team, and then they end up getting, to the back side, right? Because you're ulting straight on their head, and they end up getting to the other side of your ult. You knock them away from your teammates. They're going to be pretty pissed. There will be steel players who go this and save people's lives, but this is a fun augment. I do enjoy going this augment. Very, very fun. And then the one augment in the game that actually makes a character worse. Do not ever go this augment. I'm going to stress this a lot. Go into practice tool before you, and use the augment in the practice tool before you ever think about using this augment in an actual game. It is so unbelievably bad. I cannot express to you how bad it is. Okay, this augment is terrible. Do not go it. It makes your character worse. It is the only augment out of 144 that actually makes your character worse. Do not go this augment. Force Shield now has 2 charges, which sounds good, but it's 70% less wide. So right now you throw that shield wall up, it is huge. It's super hard for people to navigate around and try to shoot through the fog wall, right? If you throw a good fog wall, the steel wall, throw a good steel wall up in a team fight, it's super hard for them to navigate around it, shoot it. It's 70% less wide when you go this augment. It's almost the size of a character model on steel, right? It's the size of, it's smaller than the core, like the doorways you can walk through, right? Like you're coming from 5 camp into the dual lane tower that's right there, or the 3 camp coming into the lane. It's smaller than that corridor. It is a tiny wall. And even if you put both of them up together, it's still only 60% of what a normal steel wall is going to be, and they can walk around it so much easier. The only cool thing is maybe you can put it in a triangle and your ADC can sit in the middle, right? In a triangle and, fire out from there, but they're just going to walk at him. But what's the point of it? Because he has to stand in the middle of the triangle, right? In the middle of that wedge. And if they walk at him, he has to back away from the wall anyway and still get shot from the sides. It is super bad. It's essentially the size of a character model. It's terrible. Do not go this augment. Go into the practice tool and see how bad this augment is before you ever think about using it. Terra. Wild Rush now grants 15, 25, 35, 45, 65% damage reduction while channeling it. I thought this one would be kind of whatever, kind of bad overall, because cool, you only get it while channeling it. It's not like you get it while the shield's active as well. But I had some better Terra players talk to me about this, saying that this could be extremely useful. Terra's ultimate does last 10 seconds now. So let's say you ultimate and you're charging your dash. You can't be CC'd from your dash, and your dash is going to make you take 65% less damage if it's maxed out. So you're in a team fight, you're getting dove on, you ult, you start channeling your dash, you're taking less damage, you hit somebody, you have a big shield now. It can make you extremely survivable, but it's not super useful until you get that dash, or until you get that ultimate and use it with the ultimate, because anybody with CC will be able to cancel this if you don't have your ult active. So I mean, again, better Terra players have told me this one can be very impactful. Axe Retrieval Highland Hurl can be picked up from the ground, reducing its cooldown by 40%. This one is super annoying. Throw your Highland Hurl, chase after somebody, pick it up, throw it again, pick it up, throw it again. If anybody plays League of Legends, this is kind of like Olaf. Cursor's Will, while Unstoppable Force is active, Terra gains a Cursor stack every 0.7 seconds. So you're going to be able to cast a lot of empowered abilities while in your ultimate. Then again, as I've been told before, whenever you play Terra, you use an empowered ability, then you ult, then you use a second empowered ability, and then you might use your third ability pretty quickly after your second empowered one, just so you can chase them down if it's the axe throw, or dash into them pretty quickly. This will allow you to, maybe time it so you don't have to, you can use that third empowered ability without using it as a basic, but not as strong as what I thought it would be, apparently, from Terra players who have been using Terra. The Fae, damaging heroes with Harvest Nettles grants 8 ability haste for 5 seconds, stacking infinitely. So if he hits a lot of Harvest Nettles, she's going to be reducing all of her cooldowns by a lot. I've heard that this one might be her best augment. Wild Growth, Bramble Patch has 40% increased range. This one to me is probably her best augment, because that increased range on her Bramble Patch is extremely far. That thing almost covers the entire distance of a lane. Throwing that through walls is going to be super annoying for people. Throwing that through choke points. Trying to kite around this Bramble Patch is almost impossible, and it goes on forever. Plus, imagine you throw it in front of you, you get that extra move speed for extra distances now. Verdant Embrace, Untamed Growth, also heals Fae and her allies for 30 plus 30% of her magic power over its duration. The healing occurs again on the explosion. So she is healing her teammates for a lot. Imagine you have this and you're in a team fight and Fae gets an assist on a kill. That is going to heal your allies. She gets another assist. That's going to, like, you're fighting the whole time in her big AoE and you're healing the whole time because of it. This one could be super impactful in team fights. And think about this one with Drongo, where your frontliners are, if he has the gag grenade that heals, right? He throws the gag grenade on his front line who are fighting, right? Because they're melee, so he's silencing people, he's healing his allies. Faye throws her RMB down, somebody dies. Your frontliners are now standing in the second Untamed Growth, and they're just healing nonstop. This Untamed Growth could potentially greatly impact fights and keep people alive. Also will help you whenever you're trying to siege. Just throw this below your feet to get your teammates healed up. Twin Blast, Vortex Grenade has 1 additional max charge. Rocket Dash also restores 1 charge on use. So a lot of grenades with Twin Blast, a lot of grenades. This one seems like it could be fun. Amplified Burst, Vaporize, and has 15% more range. Okay, I guess. And then Hot Shot. This is the 3rd most toxic ability in the entire game. Or augment in the entire game. Ventilate now pushes nearby enemies back. Its force increasing the closer they are to you based on 0 to 1,000 units. Essentially, if you're a melee and you dive a Twin Blast, you will not be able to get close to him unless you stun him with ranged stuns. If a TB hits you with his Vaporize and you're close to him, you will permanently stay at 1,000 distance away. Your Rampage, you jump onto a TB, he ults you, he's going to push you 1,000 units away. End of story, period, no questions asked, it's happening. You're not getting closer. You can't outrun this pushback. If he decides to walk at you, you are going to be pushed away from him the entire duration, right? You're a Rampage, you jump onto the TB, he ults, you're 1,000 units away, he gets to control how far away you are. If you're in a prime pit, he will ult you to the back wall and you will stay on that back wall until that ult is over or you stun him. It is so annoying to deal with. Definitely his best augment. Try diving a TB when he has that. Good luck as a melee. Wraith. Knock Knock now deals magic damage instead. I've seen everyone go this one. I don't really see the appeal, personally. Illusionist, surprise, surprise, now grants its effect to nearby allied heroes in a 950 unit around them, but its cooldown is 40% higher. So for those of you who played OG Paragon, this is going to give your entire team AoE invis. So also, they get the super jump. I think this is his best augment. Imagine a support Wraith, even a mid lane Wraith, going this and giving his entire team invis. Yeah. Surprise, your entire enemy team's on your head. Sniper's Bounty. Killing blows from Knock Knock grant 5%, or sorry, not 5%, but 5 gold. Increased to 30 gold for heroes. So you're going to use your Knock Knock the last hit in lane as much as possible, and you're going to be getting that extra gold per hit. So in the very first minion wave, there's 6 minions. If you last hit every single minion, with it, you're getting an extra 30 gold, which is essentially a melee and a half. Wukong. High impact has 0 to 60% height damage. It's no longer capped at 1,500 units. You're now able to deal 60 to 100% extra damage when slamming from distances of 1,500 to 10,000 units. So those Wukongs who go super high in the air, if they come down and slam you, they're going to hit for a lot. Masterful Mimicry. Wukong's max clone limit is increased by 1, and he now generates a stack of hair every 4 seconds. This is the one I've seen people go the most. Apparently you have, not apparently, but you have permanent clones up. Yeah, the entire time. And level 1 even, you're going to come to lane with max clones at level 1. So it starts as soon as the game starts. Yeah, very annoying to deal with. You split push Wukong players are permanently going to have your clones up. If you're against the Sevarog, though, Sevarog's going to love to see this if he sees it. Right? He's going to love it. He's going to be like, man, I got to stack on your clones all I want. So, yeah, careful doing this against Sevarog players, but will be very annoying to deal with in general. Prosperous Path. While in body stance, kills grant 4 gold, while in spirit stance, kills restore 2% missing health. This is kills. This includes minions and monsters. Extra gold and missing health. So Wukong will be getting a lot of gold and a lot of regen. He is in this passive. This is his old passive from OG Paragon for those of you who remember that as well. Essentially his OG passive. Yin. Deflecting a projectile grants 20% movement speed over 2 seconds and a 44 plus 18 per hero level shield for 3 seconds. This is really easy to do. Just deflect a basic attack. That's a projectile. You get that movement speed. You get that shield. Super strong. Slash's kick cooldown is reduced by 50% when Yin vaults off of terrain, so make you super mobile. Storm of Salvation. Windburn lasts for 2 seconds longer and grants Yin a plus 1% missing health healing on hit when active. The healing is 20% as effective against non-heroes. So the ults, oh, sorry, no, she pops her E, not her ult, her E, which is her increased whip range. And yeah, she's going to heal for a lot. And it's going to last longer. So very annoying to deal with. Healing a ton and being hit from range a lot longer. Yeah, this is very good for Yin players. I think this Storm of Salvation and Energy Transfer are both going to be super, super impactful. Yurei, the new character. Hallowed Strikes gain 150 additional range. This is her passive auto attacks and bounces 2 more times. I think this one could be pretty impactful. Casting an ability and having extra ranged auto attacks. Oh, sorry, extra range on your auto attacks that are already ranged, and then it bouncing multiple times, clearing waves and stuff will be a lot easier from distance. Soul Weaver. Storm gains 20% plus 5% unique hero damage reduction while active, and the cooldown's 10% lower. So that ultimate that you saw earlier in the video where she does that big tornado, that's will give you damage reduction, and it's going to lower the cooldown of your ult. And then Imperial Surge, Ephemeral Surge, and Ephemeral, Jesus, Ephemeral Surge, Jesus, can't talk. Destroying Torn Spirits grants 25% decaying movement speed over 3 seconds. So that is the Torn Spirits is the head that pops up next to people. If you destroy that, you get extra move speed. I'm not sure which one people have been going the most. I would imagine it's either Hollowed Reverberation or Soul Weaver, but I'm not 100% sure. The Ascended. Zarus permanently gains 10 max health and 1 physical power every minute. This has been nerfed like 3 times. This used to be, I believe, 2.5 physical power and 15 max health. And then it got nerfed to like 13 max health and 2 physical power, or 1.5 physical power, and then I got nerfed again to 10 max health and 1 physical power. So he's just gaining scaling every minute, right? So at 30 minutes, he's going to have 300 extra health and 30 physical power. Master of Spears. Spear of Nair's cooldown is 40% longer when thrown instead of 100% longer. Cool, I guess. Kind of a... Out of all the augments in the game, they probably got to Zarius and were like, I don't know, just throw something out there. It reduces spear cooldown if he throws it. Who's throwing spear? Very rare that spear gets thrown. Flow state. Evades cooldown is 15% lower, and its cooldown is reset on takedown. So you will now have a reset on Zara's dash. Kind of like you do with Kira. You get a takedown, just kill or assist. Dash, dash, dash. And lastly, Zinx. Heal Matrix. Infuse now has 2 charges, but heals 10% less. This is kind of garbage because, you know, Zinx's heal costs 120 mana when it's maxed out. So you're going to have 0. Personally, I already have a hard enough time keeping enough mana to heal people with Zinx. Giving me 2 charges that heal for less, but still cost the same 120 mana. How are you going to heal? Sure, cool, I get 180% healing. I'm going to have no mana to use it. Infuse on-hit damage increases by 0 to 60% based on the target's missing health. This was a buff to Simba. I mean, this was a buff to you Zinx players who like to go on-hit damage. Very annoying build playing against Zinxes who do it, but definitely useful. And Disc of Demise. Ricochet bounces 25% further, and each hit reduces its current cooldown by 5%. Or for heroes, it's decreased by 10%. So let's say you throw this in a team fight and it hits all 5 people. Your stun will be on a 50% reduced cooldown, so you'll be able to throw a couple of them in team fights. I think this one actually is pretty solid. This one, Heal Matrix, could be the best if it didn't cost as much mana, but Disc of Demise is definitely a good one to go. Gameplay balance changes. Gold drip has decreased from 3.3 to 3, so people are going to be getting less gold. Mid-game increased death timer's interval increased from 20 minutes to 23 minutes, so they're increasing the death timer interval there. Gold increased from 19 for a minion hit to 21 for a minion hit. Ranged minions is 12 to 14. And siege minions is 55 to 60. So they're increasing gold on minions, but decreasing the gold drip, trying to make CS a better advantage in early game. So I don't think this is going to do much. The shared gold you get whenever you rotate is still super impactful, and now you're getting more gold whenever it gets shared. So I know they hope this is going to decrease it, but I don't think it's going to decrease the roams as much as reducing that shared gold value that you get. It's still it helps with rotates a little bit, but it's still, if they reduce the shared value that people get, then you're gonna have less people roaming. Jungle camp initial spawn time is from 1 minute to 1 minute and 5 seconds. This is so people stop leashing in the jungle. They don't want people to leash. Push back by 5 seconds to demand more of a time cost for teams that wish to leash their junglers, as currently there is a minimal downside for laners when helping the jungler on the first camp. That's correct. So you can still leash the 3 camp and the 5 camp pretty easily, but leashing the red buff or the blue buff now is going to cost you. Mini Prime. Melee minion damage reduction decreased from 65 to 50%. Ranged minion damage reduction decreased from 55 to 40%. Siege minion damage reduction decreased from 55 to 45. This is going to help a lot because mini makes it almost impossible to kill minions. It's so, if somebody gets mini orb and they're in off lane, you have to kill that guy with a gank with the jungler or mid laner immediately, or they're going to heal. Sorry, they're not going to heal. They're going to kill your tower because this is just annoying to deal with. Next, we have Orb Prime. Melee minion damage reduced as well. Again, super hard to deal with Orb Prime pushes. Their minions are super hard to kill. Blue buff increased gold. Creep score went from 6 to 7. And then blue buff's ability damage versus non-heroes is increased to 30%. Red buff, gold increased. Creep score increased. Black camp, gray buff, white buff. Brown camp, enhanced rivers. They have some small changes to some of the heroes as well. We went through augments, now we're going through heroes. Empowered Crunch's hitbox is now persistent when it is used in midair. So he's doing that jump knockup. He's going to keep the knockup look going. Greystone health growth has been decreased, so some nerfs to Greystone, some buffs to Grim, some nerfs to Kwong. We're going to go through these pretty quick because there's nothing too crazy in here. Health growth decreased on Morn, cooldown increased on his passive. This is also to help with that augment. Also decreased the healing. Sereth health growth has been decreased, so some nerfs to Sereth. Basic attack range increased for Phase from 1300 to 1500. She has normal basic attack range now. Rampage camera is no longer locked on Rampage while he picks up his boulder, so you can look around. Magic power scaling decreased on Hypercharge for Skylar. Bonus physical power scaling decreased as well. The center arrow for Sparrow now does 80% damage, and the side arrows do 65. Hera now pierces heroes too. The Highland Hurl no longer has a fixed range. Instead, Highland Hurl now acts as a lobbed projectile. So make sure you don't just throw Terra in a straight line anymore if you're trying to hit somebody from distance. It's kind of like Rampage Rock now. Wraith, the Soul Stone drone magic power has been decreased from 40 to 30, so we're nerfing Wraith support, thankfully. Peekaboo, max health damage magic power scaling has been decreased as well, thankfully. And then Knock Knock magic power scaling has been decreased from 70 to 60%. So massive nerfs to Wraith support, thankfully. Wukong, getting some nerfs again. Health growth, physical armor, power scaling, all getting nerfed. Cooldown changed on his somersault, which is his passive, so that's getting nerfed as well. Cycle breaker damage has been decreased as well in the later stages. And then 84,000 hairs clone damage, total physical power scaling has been reduced as well. So Wukong getting even more nerfs. Didn't see that coming. Zinx disc projectile no longer turns invisible for the user upon bouncing. This was kind of a big change because I was always wondering why I lost track of it. Bad medicine damage has increased. For bad medicine, magic's power scaling has been increased, so she can poke a little bit more. Item balances. Dread getting a little bit of a buff. Infernum getting a little bit of a power buff, but a ability haste nerf. Augmentation is getting a little bit of a nerf. And then these support items. The gold has been adjusted to compensate for the drip reduction. So a lot of, basically every support item is getting a 50 gold buff. It's going from, 2450 to 2400 or 2550 to 2500. So all the support items are getting buffed with their gold. And then a lot of bug fixes that you can read through on your own time. But that is the entire patch. Not too many balance changes, but as far as like the items go, or the heroes necessarily, but the heroes are getting augments, which are going to be super fun and a balance in themselves. Yeah, so between the augments and the map changes and the battle pass and the gameplay changes and the skins that are coming to Predecessor, I think this next patch is just 10 out of 10 for me. This next patch really hits all the checkpoints. There's depth, map changes everybody wants all the time. Maybe it's 9 out of 10 because the ranked changes I'm not super excited for. But yeah, map changes, new game mode. We have the skins that are coming, augments, hero changes, balance changes. Just overall, this patch is like super, super, super amazing. Hopefully the rank changes don't ruin it when it comes to balancing ranked matches, but we'll see. Maybe it's not as big of a deal as I think it is. But overall, this patch, 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 for sure. And I hope you all are excited to get it on Tuesday, June 10th, because it's going to be a fun patch. I mean, augments are just, augments are actually so much fun. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Ask any questions in the YouTube comments, ask any questions in my stream whenever I'm streaming, and we can go over any of the changes that you think might be a little bit overtuned or a little bit bad for the game that are coming on Tuesday, or even things that you're excited for. We like to hear things that people are excited for. Some of these augments on your favorite heroes are going to be a lot of fun. So anyway, make sure to like and subscribe, and you guys have an amazing day. Bye.